works at Star Fort in Winchester, Virginia. This is one of 3 forts that was used by Union General Robert Milroy during the Second Battle of Winchester. The others would have been Fort Milroy, which is just a couple hundred yards south of here, and West Fort, which is a couple hundred yards west of here. From this strategic position, Milroy would have been north of the city of Winchester, and he could have surveyed all of the city from here. And this is where he would have concentrated most of his forces during the Second Battle of Winchester. Unfortunately, Jubal Early would take West Fort and start firing on Star Fort from West Fort. So Milroy would eventually have to leave this position when he started his retreat towards the end of the Battle of Second Winchester. I'm standing here at the exact point where Jubal Early's attack on West Fort would have started. So Early's forces would have formed in a battle line here and marched this way. Early would have had artillery on the heights back there that you see firing down on West Fort. When Early's forces charged West Fort, they engaged in hand-to-hand combat with Union soldiers, and after a brief skirmish, the Union soldiers at West Fort scattered and went to Fort Milroy and Star Fort. But this is the exact position where Early's attack on West Fort would have started. I'm standing here at what would have been the Union battery position for the Battle of Second Winchester. We're right here a couple hundred yards north of where West Fort would have been. West Fort is just over the hill here beyond these rocks. It's private property now, so we can't get to it. But there would have been a Union battery placed on top of these rocks, pointed east and southeast, southeast toward the Winchester, east towards Star Fort. And I say east towards Star Fort because when Confederate General Jubal Early takes this position, he comes in from the west and attacks this position, takes it over. He turns the guns and starts pointing them towards Robert Milroy's forces at Fort Milroy and at Star Fort, which would have been directly east of here. So we're here at the corner of Piccadilly and Braddock Streets, and this house here behind me served as the headquarters for Robert Milroy in 1861 and in 1863 when he came back in and took control of Winchester in January 1863. Ironically enough, this also served as headquarters for Banks in 1862 and later Sheridan in 1864. But we're going to focus on Milroy right now. Milroy was an interesting character. When he moved into this house in the 1860s, he was very unpopular with the local people because he tried to enact emancipation. The Emancipation Proclamation went into effect on January 1st, 1863. Milroy, when he moved in here, tried to enforce that here in the southern state, and it did not go over well. Also, when he was here, he did not get along with the family that owned this house. They accused him of stealing things from them. And when Milroy came back to Winchester years later to endorse a political candidate here, the crowd that attended his speech was chanting out that he needed to return the things that he stole from him.
Located in the heart of downtown Winchester, the museum is housed in the historic Frederick County Courthouse. This Greek Revival courthouse was built in 1840 and was used by both sides as a hospital, a prison, and a barracks during the Civil War. Many prisoners left their names and other graffiti on the walls, much of which is still visible today. The museum features a collection of over 3,000 Civil War artifacts that illustrates the life of a common soldier.